Alright, so I'm in my basement parking and I'm just going to run through what needs to be done to my car to get it out of here, up and driving again, so I can get it across to the warehouse. Things are not made any easier by the fact that the lights on top of and on either side of my car are out, so we're going to be working, well, either in darkness or in torchlight, but actually I'm quite used to doing that here, so let's have a quick look at what I need to fix. So the front hub needs to go back on with new bearings in the hub itself and new brake discs because the old one was below its minimum, so I've got new pads to go on as well. All of that was triggered by needing to change the front studs because they were too short from the old wire wheels for the new mini lights. And at the rear, it's just a case of swapping out the studs. Well, just he says. I hope that's straightforward. I think it is from what I've looked up. Inside, I've got to finish off putting back in the steering column, which I had out recently again. I just got to button up the clamps for that, reconnect the ignition, obviously steering wheel, and then dash gauges under the bonnet, reconnecting the steering shaft, which obviously I disconnected because I had the steering column out, and then putting the rocker cover back on. And everything else under here I haven't touched since I drove it last. So, well, of course it will all be as it was when I drove it a few months ago. Hopefully that's the case when I start it up. So that's a bit of a list, but not horrific, and I can probably do it in a good day, he says. Right, get cracking. All my tools are over at the warehouse, so I've got no tools here, including the jack, which obviously I need to do, well, pretty much anything. Okay, so I need to go and get my stuff.
Hi, sir.
Hi, Sejan. How are you?
I'm
You good?
good, sir.
Yeah. Looks good. Well, it's gone up very fast. I'm impressed. That's very quick. The windows.
This wall to 153. 153.
Okay, so they're the
So
same.
equal.
That's good. And the height, well, you told me it's 3 meters to the top, isn't it?
Yeah. See this. 3 meters.
Okay, and then the ceiling is at 2.8.
Yeah. Will be fill wall. And now you see, sir.
You're putting the brackets on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we said we're going to have 2 down here because that's probably where desks and stuff are going to go, and then 1, 2, 3 along the wall.
And this one is the light switch.
Perfect.
Okay, sir. And AC.
One big AC on that wall.
Yeah, AC is here. And we already put this cable. Power.
All right, well done.
Cover for AC. But I think that inside this office, white color is better.
I'm happy with white. The ceiling can be white.
Yeah, white 60 by 60.
If that's easier, then I won't make it any more difficult. You have any other shoes?
Yeah, actually this is okay. No problem. Tomorrow I will change.
Because I'm just worried about you treading on a nail, you know, or a screw.
No, I have shoes.
Okay. You want me to move the cars?
Possible to?
Yeah, of course. We can move them right back.
Little bit there because sir, it's the only way.
No, we can move them right back.
Anything fall down?
No, I absolutely agree. So how are you going to do it? A scaffolding tower?
Yeah, escapade tomorrow will be bringing.
And it's on wheels or it's fixed?
Wheel.
I changed the wheels on the TR4A so that we can actually move it. Amazingly fast. They've made more progress on that than I have on the cars. Welcome. Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
You're from Wurth?
Yeah, Wurth.
Okay, super. So look, this is
The new workshop?
the new workshop, and I've only been here, well, it's for the 3rd week, and the car's only arrived.
Mostly classic.
Yeah, classic cars.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I mean, British classic cars, but
So you are doing renovation for the car?
yeah, restoration.
Restoration, yeah.
Exactly. And also, I don't know, when I think about the tools, particularly the ramp,
The jacks,
yeah, which is why I want it to be quite low profile. I mean, these cars aren't particularly low,
Yeah.
but I may want to do other cars that are going to be quite low. So I did a bit of a list that I can send you. But really, what I want to do is, well, you can give me your advice. I don't want to get everything, day one. But I know that immediately, and why I keep pointing over here, I need a 2-post lift.
Yeah, two pieces.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think one lift for now, and I think that will go here,
Okay.
and we can work out, where it needs to go dimensionally. So a lift for sure.
Some benches,
workbenches,
tool trolleys.
Exactly, and the tool chest.
Yeah, we have 2 types of tool chest. One is German.
Okay.
Yeah, it has a lifetime warranty, and we have the normal one that every garage is using.
But the other big one is at the moment when I'm taking parts off the car, there's a lot of parts cleaning and parts, you're taking off the finishes, removing rust. So, and it wasn't in the catalogue, and I wonder whether Wurth had it, was a parts washer.
We have washing tray.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
The other one was a sandblasting cabinet, whether you have that.
Let's discuss it. I will check it now.
Have a look.
Catalog. Yeah. So welcome to our DIT showroom.
Very nice. It's like a toy shop.
We have all the products for all divisions, or 5 divisions.
Superb. And you're just next door to me.
Yeah, next door.
So
We
how
are
long?
everywhere, and our new branch will be open next Monday
Okay.
in
Superb.
Mall, Dubai, next to our Rashidiyah.
And you've got all the everyday sort of consumables, and
Everywhere.
cleaners, detergents.
Car care, auto, construction, metal, cargo.
Okay,
Any product.
that's very good news. Oh, I'm delighted. I didn't know you were here.
Yeah, we can bring anything from UK, from Germany, any special order.
Excellent.
The simple one. This is the more advanced one. It's the zebra quality.
No, very nice, very nice.
Yeah, it's a lifetime warranty.
Okay,
So,
superb. Okay, let's sit down and
inshallah, let's sit down.
make an account.
Sure.
Exciting. All right. So one of the reasons I want to get the office set up, and it's coming along nicely, is that I can then base myself there for this stuff, which is all the design side of what I want to do with BaulyCars. So I've just had a couple of parts taken off my own car, front hub here and the rocker cover, and that, I guess they make quite good examples of the sort of process that I've been going through recently with some of the products on the car. So I'm trying to commit to spending time to create a 3D digital version of the part, and so I with the front hub I sit down and very carefully caliper everything as accurately as I can, and then I record it all on some sketches, this sort of thing. That's the front face of the front hub, and then that would be the back face as example, and then translate that all into SolidWorks, which is my selected piece of software to create a digital version. To answer the question, why am I doing that? With the rocker cover, it would be about wanting to create my own version of a rocker cover. I haven't spent much time on the design, but I've put TR6 on it, and maybe that's a nice thing to do, but that's obviously not finished yet. But creating a 3D model of the part allows me then to make any changes to improve it, change the performance or the cosmetics. The reason to do it for the front hub is less about wanting to change the front hub design, because anyway there are some very nice aftermarket front hubs that are available, and I will happily use those. But the front hub is part of wanting to build up a digital model of the front suspension, for example, and the rear suspension in due course, but particularly on the front, so I can really interrogate how the suspension changes when you put in shorter, stiffer springs, and then see if there are any opportunities to address some of the compromises that come out of doing that. My workflow, if you like, of restoring the cars has this additional step in it, take the parts off, they become refurbished, restored, or replaced, then digitized, then they get refinished, reassembled, and put back on the car. When I take off the spindle, the vertical link, the upper and lower arms, and everything else, I will then do the same. So I've done that for some time already, and other examples are the dashboard, which again I spent quite a lot of time on the dashboard of getting the geometry right, because the curvatures are so sort of, well, there's no real geometry on the curvatures. They are just what they are from the original part. But I'm pretty happy with that now, and again, it allows me to explore getting the dash made. It's now a very precise data file of a dashboard that I can then 3D print or have machined in even in solid wood or in aluminium or something else to produce a little bit of an alternative dash to the original ones. And then I'm for example, on the dash, I'm looking at making it modular, splitting it into pieces, makes it a bit easier to fit and remove when you're fiddling with the dash. So every time I'm doing a model, front hub, rocker cover, dash, and there's a longer list which I can perhaps rattle through. They each have a potential opportunity for creating something that's new, improved for the car as an upgrade. The air bleed valve, which is a part which is discontinued, which people are still keen to find. That we're reproducing that. It's not finished yet. Boot lid, just to work down this list. The boot lid is obviously quite a big project. The boot lid is incredibly heavy, so I've started to digitise the boot lid, and due course, I'd probably quite like to do the bonnet if possible, and maybe that allows me to reproduce them in an alternative material. Centre caps, obviously, the centre switch pad in the middle of the dash, the centre console that houses all the push-pull switch gear for HVAC, choke, etc. Just to change that. They're often quite cracked, and they are on both my cars. I haven't got an example here. I do have an example here. So this guy is it's a 3D print, but that's the pretty much it's a 3D print of the model, but it's now modular, that this piece is a separate element. So you can choose whether you have 4, 5, 10 switches in the middle of your center console, and actually the motivation for this came from quite a common change that people do, is they move the ignition key from under the dash, which is unfortunately quite near your knees, a bit fiddly to get to putting it back to the middle of the dash here. Chassis is obviously a big it's a big subject. So the chassis, which is this is just the chassis on its own, is still very much under development. A potential new chassis for the car, but that chassis lives in a wider model of the overall car. The blue stuff is I spent some time measuring the bulkhead and toe boxes of my own car, and that's now in the model, and the chassis too. And then in due course, all these bits, the dash, the rocker cover, front suspension, interior pieces, will all then eventually find their way into this sort of master model of the car. That actually then, the wider plan, my widest dream, if you like, is that once I have a model that captures, comprehensively many of the parts of the car, you could then reasonably use that model to plan out and manage the restoration process. Showing a customer, okay, we've looked at your car, and all the stuff that's highlighted in red, for example, are items which are beyond repair and need to be replaced. All the items in blue, or whatever the colour might be, are items that we think we can refurbish, and so forth. And you can then quickly build from the digital model a sort of brief for the customer of actually what needs to be done on their car. And out of that, you would get a list of parts, which helps you then price the whole thing. And then you could go on to use that same model to show the progress that you're making in terms of the actual real progress of the restoration. I know that, you know, project management systems exist for restoration of cars, but you know, this is pushing it one step beyond that, of actually having a digital model that represents every nut and bolt and washer and, you know, interior piece or whatever the case may be. But for now, I need to actually, sit down and model this front hub. So I'll get on with that.